Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Donald Trump spent the entire 2024 presidential campaign promising he would enact tariffs across the board, a tax on imported goods. It wasn't a secret. In fact, we covered it very extensively right here on this program. This week, Trump made good on that promise, unveiling a, well, even by his standards, ridiculous tariff proposal that has left nearly all serious economists across the political spectrum downright baffled and appalled. It amounts to an enormous multi-trillion-dollar tax hike on all Americans issued by fiat by the president, especially on working and middle-class families who spend a larger share of their income on the kinds of goods being taxed here. Today, in a post on social media, Trump told Americans to brace for the damage he's done to the economy with a call to, quote, "Hank tough," adding, quote, "only the weak will fail." But the markets were not able to hank tough.
Stocks falling off a cliff for a second straight session and closing right about at the lows. All the major averages off 5.5% to 6%, with the Nasdaq closing in bear market territory. S&P 500 wiping out more than $4 trillion in value in 2 days.
This big, beautiful economy that actually was rolling pretty good with jobs and inflation coming down feels more like the Game of Thrones Red Wedding. I mean, it is not going well.
This is not just the market having a panic. This is bad policy having bad effects.
Though I will say Trump's friends over at Fox Business, they did strike something of a different tone.
The Dow in correction. It loses a third, most points in history. That's going to do it for us.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. All right, the stock market's tariff tantrum continues. But you know what? Key countries around the world are lining up to negotiate with President Trump. How about that?
The action right now, more and more nations are talking tariff deals with the White House and lowering their trade barriers. We've got the growing list of names. It's beyond Cambodia and Vietnam.
I just want to say, as an aside, as someone who works in the industry, whichever Fox Business producer opted for the money flowing down animation in that clip, like, you definitely deserve some recognition. Today, the chair of the Federal Reserve, who was elevated to that position by Donald Trump, warned Americans that economic shocks of these tariffs will be real and they could last for a very long time.
While uncertainty remains elevated, it is now becoming clear that tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. And the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth. The size and duration of these effects remains uncertain. While tariffs are highly likely to generate at least a temporary rise in inflation, it's also possible that the effects could be more persistent.
Trump called on the Fed, which is, of course, an independent entity by statute, to try and bail him out by cutting interest rates. I'm not sure the pressure campaign is going to work or make much difference. J.P. Morgan now estimates the odds of a recession this year at 60%. And keep in mind, entirely as a result, totally ex nihilo, right? Generated by one man, Donald Trump's self-inflicted sabotage of the U.S. economy. As the Wall Street Journal reports, analysts said retaliatory tariffs by other countries, weakening business sentiment in the U.S., and the supply chain disruptions will make things worse. Those retaliatory tariffs are already on the way. Despite the Trump administration practically pleading with foreign nations not to retaliate, China's finance ministry announced a 34% tariff on all goods imported from the U.S. today. Of course, that's a lot of stuff that U.S. farmers export to China. We've been through this before. Donald Trump inched us one step closer to a potentially catastrophic global trade war of all against all. On the Senate floor this afternoon, Democratic Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut outlined just how bad it could get.
In Trump's first term, he imposed a 20% escalating tariff on washing machines. And the idea was that, we want washing machines to be made in the United States instead of outside of the United States. But because he didn't pair that together with any more comprehensive help for the washing machine industry in the United States, it was only downside. That's what's coming at scale. Not just on washing machines, but on virtually every consumer product. A big price increase, little to no domestic job creation, all the pain on the middle class. Tariffs can work, but this is not the way that they work.
Senator Chris Murphy is going to join me in just a few minutes. First, I want to bring in Steve Leisman. He's a senior economics reporter for CNBC. And Steve, I've been watching your coverage with some interest, and I'll just start by saying, what's your takeaway from these last 2 days?
Well, you know, we can go through the tick by tick. I came into the studio about 6:50 this morning when China put those retaliatory tariffs on, and it was clear to the market we're in the middle of a trade war, and I watched the market go down another 500 points. Later in the day, we learned that Fed Chair Jay Powell, he cannot step in to rescue this market because he has to worry about inflation. He can't just worry about the downside growth. But if you take a step back, what's really happening here, Chris, is the market is pricing in the high probability of a recession. That's really what this is all about right now. How much, how little, we don't know. I will say that if there is going to be a recession, there could be further for stocks to fall here. One way to think about this, Chris, is the future value of America is now $7 to $10 trillion less than it was before Donald Trump took office. And I guess another way to think about it is this, that, you know, the Titanic hit an iceberg by accident. This is the equivalent of steering the Titanic towards the iceberg. What's not happening here is the market is not pricing in some form of golden age where manufacturing comes back to America and this country prospers as a result of that. The market prices in future values, and that's not happening. And just one more thing, Chris, which is a lot of conversations I've had with big investors, people who manage a lot of money, is this sense that they thought that Donald Trump, and especially the lieutenants around him, the Treasury Secretary, who's a hedge fund manager, the Commerce Secretary ran an investment bank, that they cared about things like the market and the economy, and they could keep the worst things of Donald Trump from happening. Well, that's gone. There's not a sense that anybody, I don't know if it's competent or anybody who can, the adults have left the room, is maybe one way to put it.
Let me ask you one follow-up on that. You know, all along, right, he's promised this, and I've talked to people on Wall Street myself as part of my reportings, and there's sort of a bull case and a bear case, right? And the bull case is this is all big talk to get leverage for negotiations. And the bear case is, no, he's serious. He means it. The man truly loves tariffs, right? And part of what you've seen in the last few days is the bear case winning out as it dawned on people that he's serious. Now, Trump just posting this to Truth Social saying big business is not worried about the tariffs. And then he says, because they know they are here to stay. But they are focused on the big, beautiful deal. I think that's his tax bill, which will supercharge our economy. Even as of now, Steve, you've got people who are like, this is all leverage for a deal. I still don't think that's right. Has that truly sunk in on the street?
I don't think it has. I think, but let me go a step further, Chris, if I could,
please.
Which is this: I'm not sure how the president would gain the confidence of the market if he were to say, "I'm taking all the tariffs off." This is very significant for a couple reasons. First of all, if you imagine, remember that the great financial crisis, the Fed chair could step in, or the Treasury Secretary, and say, we are doing something, and they could break the back of the panic. That's what happened. Who will step in now and say what to break the back of this? Because I talked to a manufacturer who said he benefits from the tariffs, but he said he cannot invest because he doesn't know if the tariffs that will help him will be around a week from now, a month from now, or a year from now that would help him. So there is a huge lack of credibility. We had Peter Navarro on our air on Thursday afternoon. He said, these are not negotiable. On Air Force One, in the evening, President Trump said, I'm waiting for them to make phenomenal deals. This morning, the president tweeted out, my policies are not going to change. So nobody knows. And the problem with that is if you want to break the back of the panic, you've got to be able to step in and say something definitive that the market believes. I don't know that he can do that anymore.
It's a really good and important point, Steve Leisman. Great pleasure to have you on. Come back anytime. There's going to be a lot more news on this. Appreciate it. Thank you.